Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Sorry for being a little bit late in getting this posted tonight, but it's been a very hectic day for me, both market-wise and just other things that occur in our lives. Getting started here with the S&P, with the futures market. I'm on the 4-hour chart. First thing you're going to notice is, yep, it keeps tossing these curveballs. And even though I had hints that the market was not likely finished with the upside, with putting that minor third in, even though the cash market argues that that remains the fact, I now am allowing for this additional high in the futures market, which hopefully will also produce an additional high within the cash market and not really upset all of these apple carts at once. So still in the same type of account where we're looking for the completion point of the minuet wave 5 now, the minute 5th wave, and then the minor 3rd wave. It is extending. It's more coming out of the NASDAQ. It's Apple, it's Microsoft, it's Meta, it's Tesla. On these stocks that are just, actually what I saw today also occurred yesterday, but more so today, is what they call the dispersion trade, where they sell the VIX, they sell volatility, and then they buy the volatility within the underlying, not all of the stocks, but in underlying members of the S&P and the NASDAQ. In this case, it was Apple, it was Meta, it was Microsoft, it was Tesla, it was SMCI. They're just how they choose, I don't know. It's not up to me. But what I can tell you is this is what took place. And it just, you get into one of those situations where they just start taking the market higher, and then they don't pull it back. It just goes higher, they pull it back a little bit, goes higher, they pull it back a little bit, it goes higher. That's when they're really just rampant going on with this dispersion trade. Now, I think again that the market is going to be moving into a seriously oversold reading and, overbought reading. I said that backwards, didn't I? So, and it's kind of an interesting fact of what's going on. But if I take a look, remember we also talked about how within, and I'm here on the S&P, within the market, that the daily, the weekly, and even down to the 4-hour chart, were before our chart yesterday screamed neutral. Now today it's screaming strong buy. Now this is just taken into all of the technical indicators plus the moving averages. Now, if I take a look back at this chart, and we're on the 4-hour, you can see, I can just open this up a little bit so we can see. See how it blasted right above. This is this morning, right above the 50, the 20, and it always was above the 200. Now, the 50s turned higher, the 20s turned higher, the 13 is like running. And so that puts it back into, on a moving average wise, it's a strong buy. Now, the one thing that the moving averages aren't going to tell you is like, well, what's a target? How high can we get? That's where I turn and I go back to Elliott. Now, mind you, I had to put this 3rd wave back over here. That was marked as the 5th. I put it back as the 3rd. I got an ABC down to here. And so I could have put the 4 there and then started, which could have been, like I'm measuring in the NASDAQ. We'll get to that in a minute. But I believe that this was a more complex ABC down, putting in the wave 4. And therefore, we're in this minuet wave 5. And the first resistance comes in at 56.05. Now, what's the gig? We need to get above 55.85, and I believe this is 88. Yeah, 55.88. That is where wave 5 would overtake wave 3. And so that resistance starts at 56.05. Now, if we're doing this accordingly with how Elliott showed us how, wave 5, most common, is going to come in equal to wave 1 on a fib basis. When we're making that comparison, wave 1 to wave 5, that's at 56.68 or 56.70, I'm going to call it. So that's still a good distance up. It's 100 points from where we're finishing the day. Could the S&P do that? They can. For whatever reason the market's doing what it's doing, they can. And I am still expecting that pullback in terms of a minor fourth wave. So whether we're starting from here or we're going to start from higher, I can just do it this way. I'm going to be looking for, I got to go out all the way to this daily. I'm looking for that pullback to bring us back into this level, no matter what. Even if we go up to 56.70, still looking for it to come back into here. And an ABC down. So that part hasn't changed. Just when it's all going to begin has changed. And still we have a bunch of stuff out there that could just trigger and go. Now, the ISM and some of those figures that came out today, the market was okay with it. Market actually was like, that's fine. We're okay with what we saw. So, but tomorrow now, in fact, today, all we really had was U.S. job openings, so they were okay with that. Now, tomorrow, we have ADP employment early, 8:15 a.m. Eastern. We have, and by the way, we have another Fed president who's over in Portugal talking at that conference. He'll be talking at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. ADP employment at 8:15. Initial jobless claims, day early, come out at 8:30 a.m., along with the U.S. trade deficit and S&P 500 U.S. Services PMI. So on Monday, we got the manufacturing PMI. Tomorrow, we get the final for the services PMI. At 10 a.m., we have factory orders. At 10 a.m., we also have ISM services. Now, that one is, again, that could be a pull. Comes out at 10 a.m. We could get a switch there. Don't know. It's either going to boost it till we get up and make these highs, or it could pull it in. Just as we're going to have to wait and see. Now, pre-holiday trade tomorrow as well. I can only imagine that there's been a lot of traders that are just like, okay, we've had a really rough, we're taking tomorrow off, we're taking Friday off, and Thursday's a holiday. We're going to make it, a nice long weekend. Possibly, don't know. But be cautious because we might just get that type of a deal where the market it gets thin because there's not enough volume. And that can happen within the equities, it can happen within the futures market. So we just need to, moves can move real quickly if somebody needs a whole handful of either stock or futures. So that's the S&P. Not much to be adding, still battling, trying to not go down and start to keep heading up. And the only way they can do that, of course, is to just keep pumping on the stocks, and that's what they're doing. Over in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ actually kind of a little bit different, but I'm not sure, and let me explain why. I don't want to be on the daily, but I will start on that 4-hour. So here again, that's the fourth wave of one lesser degree. Once we do get into that minor fourth wave, this remains the area that I've been looking for, whether it starts from here or here. I'm still looking for it to drop down. It's just going to be quicker and harder if they pump it up first. But hey, who are we? Now, what I had to do again, I had to move it. So I got 1, 2, I got the 3 up here, the 4 down here. Let me bring this right down to the hourly chart because this is where we start to delineate or just diverge from what was really being shown in the S&P. So if I could probably mark this as the 4, but that would be A, B, and then this is an ugly C, and and small failure. If that's the case, then this is 1, 2, and this is the 3rd. Otherwise, and I may do that. So let me just put these both out there. We have that possibility that it's going to be a diagonal finishing for wave 5, which would be very, very appropriate, so to speak, because the NASDAQ, I believe, is just going to continue to go higher, likely through Friday's expiration, and maybe moving on it even to the next week when earnings start. I don't know, but of course, a diagonal triangle, which means they just kind of triangulize or just kind of pinnacle, go right up to that top. and it just gets steeper and steeper, of course, as we get up there. So it is not out of the ordinary for this market to do that, let me say. So moving averages. So let me just take a peek at, I can already tell you, it's going to be the same story here in the NASDAQ. So there's so much going on. But this is a basis, the cash. I'm going to put all this together. So when I'm looking hourly, which was strong sell, strong buy. One day, that rally, that just push it all, just take it. I go up to the 4 hour, strong buy. Go up to the daily is a strong buy. Go up to the weekly is a strong buy. Across the board. So that also just boosts, and let me just say as well, it is not across the board at 102 stocks, or at least the 100 stocks that are in this NASDAQ 100. It is not across the board there. They're not all roaring. It's selective. And that is the catch, I guess. So come back down to the hourly, it's a strong buy. The 15-minute is a strong buy. So I'm anticipating that we continue to go up tomorrow. And if they continue to do this dispersion trade, it's really just get long and stay long, and don't worry about the pullbacks because they're all minimal. So it's a toughie. So outside of, could be could be 1, could be 2. We're getting ready to finish 3. 3 comes in at 20,334. I would like to see this third wave get above this third wave so that the whole move is now in new high territory, and that's 20,371. Today's rally was just pretty dang strong, I got to just say, and it just was all due to, again, just those few stocks. But above that 1.618 for wave 3, we have the first for this minuet fifth at 20,367. Again, not necessarily getting above there. But for wave 3 to be there, pull back in a 4, that still fits. Now, other side of this coin, this 4, if it goes over here, it's going to push this level up a little bit, but then this would be an A, B, and this would be the C, as we are seeing in the S&P. In this case, 1, 2, and we're inside 3. So I believe we could easily get ourselves above 20,371. And accordingly here, we really would be looking for 2.618. Could way get up here, get way up into these levels. And I might, if I had to put the 4 there, let me just run one thing. So we're going to go here, and I'm going to, yep, that's it. So go back down here, activate this. Just saying, if I had to move this over to here, and we're going to consider it a small failure, then where our first marker is 20,449. So again, new high. Maybe we get a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and ends up here. Otherwise, we get a 3 and a 4 and a 5 to finish the 3 up here-ish, 4 and a 5, and we get up here to here or even here. I can't say that I can rule out 20,800. I can't rule any of this out. The market is the market, and they're just kind of going for it. So, but anticipate additional rally. Pullbacks? Yep, but rally. A sudden pullback based on a number would be, you'd be looking for this to start to break below moving averages quickly. Look at that on the 15. Look at the 50. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it did. And that's why all of those indicators turned and flipped. So it's something. It is something. So we'll just wait and we'll see. We'll see how this all goes. Right now, I am looking for more upside tomorrow. And again, pre-holiday. So next update will be, I will put one out on Wednesday, July the 3rd.